welcome to this week's episode of NetKno, the networking show, where we talk all things networky. So this week we're going to be looking at how we can nurture our network. So when it comes to networking, people often focus on meeting new people. We want more people. We want to go to events and chat to new people. But actually, some of the biggest value comes when you nurture the relationships that you've already got. You already know a lot of people, my friend. You know, you've got people you went to school with. You've got next door neighbours. You've got cousins and aunties and uncles who have also got friends in their network. And you've got colleagues that you used to work with and they've moved to companies now. And you've moved companies. You've maybe started your own. People you went to school with, university, whatever it is. These are all people in your network. And we can't just focus on all the new shiny people. We need to always think about how we can nurture the relationships with the people that we've already got. And there's loads of different lovely ways that we can do this. And a lot of them are dead free. They're free, they're easy, they're quick. And just these little actions can build up over time just to nurture those relationships so that when someone in your network needs you, you are the person that they think of and they're there opening doors and opportunities for you, which is what we want. So the first tool at our disposal, the first tool at our disposal, is that the right disposable tool? Yeah. The first tool at our disposal, social media. We love social media. We are all on social media, most of us anyway, because it's addictive. When someone likes, comments or shares our social media content, we get a happy hit of dopamine. It makes us feel good. It's why we're all addicted to it. But it's also, if you can be the cause of someone in your network feeling good by giving them a happy little hit of dopamine, it reminds them that you're there. It makes them feel nice and happy that you've engaged with their social content. And if you are being consistent in that behavior, then over a long period of time, if they need something from you, vice versa, pick up the phone. You're like, oh, how are you? It feels like that you just spoke yesterday, even though it's been a very, very long time since you've seen them in person. You're engaging on their social media content, which keeps that relationship fresh. It keeps you in their minds and reminds them that you're there in a positive light. And again, free, quick, easy. It takes 2 seconds to engage. When it comes to social media, we often spend time like scrolling through stuff, and you've got to think of social media as a party. Okay, you don't want to be stood outside the window just looking in, watching everyone else having a good time. No, you need to get in there. You need to engage, be social. That's why it's called social media. Be social, engage, interact, remind people that you're there, and have conversations with people as well. So don't just press the like button. Comment on their content, reference things that they've talked about, share that content with your wider network. Not only are you adding value to the person who created it originally, but you're adding value to your wider network by sharing information and knowledge that they might have missed otherwise. So again, great way to add value across our network, as well as nurturing relationships to the people that we already have. On the back of that, the next kind of step to put in a little bit more time into our network is having these catch-ups with people, having one-to-ones. And we can do this on the phone. If you still remember how to do that. Do people talk on the phone nowadays? If someone rings me and they haven't told me they're going to ring me, it freaks me out a little bit. I don't know if you're the same. But you could, pick up the phone, give someone a phone call. How are you? How are you today? What's going on in your life? If you want to, you can arrange these said phone calls so as not to freak people out. Or we can book in Zooms, team meetings, whatever your preference. So it could be really just a little half an hour chat. Say to someone, look, we've not spoken in a while. Or I see that you've moved jobs since we last saw each other. I'd love to catch up, find out what you're up to. If you've got a half hour, here's my diary link or whatever works for you. Let's catch up. And genuinely have these one-to-one uninterrupted conversations. Even better than that half an hour online is like a bit more time and doing it in person. This takes a bit more energy. Obviously, we've got to travel somewhere. You've got additional costs involved, whether that's the coffee and the cake or, it's the travel itself. But putting that time into our network, it really, really pays off. Having these one-to-one in-person conversations, it allows you to go a bit deeper. When we shake hands with people, we release, we hug or whatever it is, we connect. We release our connection hormone. Oxytocin gets released, and that's the hormone that connects us as humans. But it's also really where we build trust. So spending time in each other's presence allows us to feel safe with another person and really build those meaningful connections. And again, often in networking, we focus on volume of more people, but we don't have that depth there. You know, how many people in your network really understand what it is you do and really understand what it is you offer and your values as an organization or a business owner. And, you know, spending that one-to-one time with another person can really allow you to understand that about each other and build that really meaningful connection, which is such a powerful thing. And if you can have just 5 of those connections in your network, that can be a lot more powerful than having hundreds of people that are just acquaintances that don't really get what you do, and they're never going to buy from you and they're never going to recommend you. If you are spending one-to-one time with someone, a great way to nurture that relationship even further is to do it without our phones. Put your phone away. Don't even put your phone away. Get it out and then switch it off. Imagine if you sit down for a coffee with someone and they get the phone out, and instead of putting it on the table upside down, which is what we all do, we get our phones out, we put it upside down as if to say, oh, my phone's there, but I've turned it upside down because I care about what you have to say. No. Research has proven that just the presence of a phone, it lowers the quality of the conversation. People, it's a distraction. It's hugely metaphorical. So you're saying by having your phone there, if this phone rings, I'm going to shut you down and I'm going to pick it up and answer it because it's more important than you are. And that means that we don't go as deep in our into our conversations for fear of being cut off at any moment. So get your phone out. Switch it off. If you don't know how to do it, Google it, find out how to turn your phone off and then put it away and really be present and practice our listening, because networking is probably more about listening than it is actually about talking to the small talk stuff. Don't do the talk and do the listening, and doing that without the distraction of technology. It's such a wonderful way to really nurture relationships with the people that we have in our network, whether that's a personal network or that's a professional network, but hugely impactful. And it really allows you to build that meaningful connection, which is just what we all want and crave as humans, and we often look for online. But actually the best way to get it is to put that time, that one-to-one time into someone. So think about maybe 3 or 4 people that you have in your network that you would benefit from nurturing a relationship with. They would benefit from finding more out about what it is that you do. They could be quite a recent connection, or it could be someone that you've known for years but haven't seen in such a long time. And reach out and say, look, let's go for a coffee. Let's have a catch up, just me and you. I'd love to hear about what it is that you're doing so I can better understand and then better help to network your network, help open doors for the people that are in your network. So on last week's podcast, we looked at how to add value to your network. And that's what we want to try and focus on, because when we focus on adding value in, we get it back so much more. And in order to add value the most efficiently, we need to firstly really understand what it is they do. So nurturing relationships with the people in your network allows you to do that. And then we can start networking that network. We can start making connections between the people that we already know and the new people we meet to add value to both of those parties. And just that sharing of connections, that's such a great way to nurture relationships as well. Because if you are passing people introductions, that means they're getting business left, right, and center. Not only are they going to think that you are absolutely fantastic and going to want to look for ways to return that favor for you, but they're going to be out in the world telling people how wonderful you are, what an amazing person you are, and shouting your name in a room full of opportunities. That's what you want to be doing for others. And the people that you add value to, they're going to be doing that for you as well. And that's just the most wonderful way to network your network and to really nurture the relationships that you've already got. So give it maybe a few weeks, and instead of focusing on going out and meeting new people, look for ways in which you can nurture the relationships that you already have. How can you add value to those people? How can you reignite some relationships in your network that have potentially, fallen down the wayside? You've not seen them for a long time. Find some people on social media, start re-engaging, reconnecting, and then maybe even lead that into some maybe lovely one-to-one conversations where you can really just have those chats, share what you're doing, but then also really find out what they're about, what they're looking for, and look for ways in which you can help them achieve it. That is it for this week. Go out and nurture those relationships, my friend. If, as always, this has been useful for you, please do share it with your network so it can hopefully be of use to them as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. And I shall see you over at next week's episode, which I can't remember off the top of my head is going to be about what, but I can promise it's going to be wonderful. So I'll see you then.
A Liquid Studios production.